Welcome to Coffee Connect, everybody. I'm Roddy. I'm the host. Today, we're going to have some great discussions about connecting and stuff. I would tell you, like, if you enjoy the conversations, I would encourage you to email me so I can put you on the email list. So you know what topics are coming up in the next few weeks and stuff, right? You get the weekly invites. I try not to inundate you with too many emails. And you know, hey, you're getting 3 a week from Coffee Connect. One announcing, two as a 24-hour reminder, and then the third one should have came this morning about 8:30, 9 o'clock as the, hey, don't forget, we're logging in at 10 to talk about some amazing things, right? And then, as always, you can go back to our website, www.addictedtoconnecting.com. Not only to see what's coming up, but also to review past episodes and look at the YouTube, check out the YouTube channel, right? And go back to some of the past episodes that we've had and stuff. And so appreciate all of you joining me today. Let's get rolling here because we've got more to talk about. Last week, we had some fun doing Coffee Connect Olympics, went through a lot of networking activities. We did a lot of breakout rooms and stuff, exercising some of the lessons that we've learned. We're going to further learn some lessons today as we really start to dig into this whole month of networking and what it means to us, how we can create better connections, how we can create systems around those connections so that we have follow-up times and things like that that are more natural and sustainable for us, right? And so today, diving into the art of meaningful connection, right? I'm going to jump right into this, right? And so upper left-hand corner, feel free to unmute yourself, right? Upper left-hand corner. Who recognizes this? Who recognizes this logo?
Not sharing your screen.
Yeah,
Can't
not
see anything.
Well, shame on me.
I recognize Rodney Chronister. He's in the upper left of my screen.
Oh my goodness.
Me too.
Same here, Joe.
I recognize that logo.
Wow.
Brilliant personal branding there, Rodney.
See that?
Are you recording again? Yep.
I am recording.
I don't
Yes.
see any logo. Oh, what am I
okay, that
missing?
looks like McDonald's.
That's
McDonald's.
McDonald's.
Part of McDonald's.
So, okay,
Yes.
McDonald's. What's the next one?
Nike.
Nike,
Target,
Target.
Starbucks,
Amazon, Apple.
Amazon
Like-
and Apple.
You know all of these, and yet you don't even have the whole picture, right? And so I bring this up because brand identity is huge, right? And these companies have grown their reputations over years and decades, and so much so that when someone looks at even half of the logo, we know who it belongs to. We often know what that company stands for, right? We probably know some of the struggles that they've experienced over the years as well, right? Nike wasn't always the name that it was, right? It didn't really take off and take hold until they were able to work something out with Michael Jordan, right? And that's when Nike really became this whole brand of this is who you want to be, and this is the shoe you need to have. And today's Nike's not even what it was 20 years ago, right? Because of some challenges they went through. Starbucks, the same way, right? Starbucks became a brand. Everyone knew it. Everyone knew that it wasn't just about coffee. It was also a little bit about the experience that you had being this other place that you could go to and stuff. Does Starbucks have challengers today?
Yes.
Lots of them, right? Lots of them. Mom and pops might even become one of Starbucks' biggest challengers anymore, right? And we all know the story of Amazon and Ray Kroc and where apples come from. The point of this is that when you're showing your picture, ironically, I didn't do that on purpose, right? But Joe was joking. I see Rodney Chronister. That's what I see. What are people seeing? Right? When they see your name even, or your photo, or when you walk in the room, like, what are they seeing? What is the image that they're getting across? What are the values that they know that you hold? Right? I believe all of us would, we would love to have that brand recognition that just by walking in a room, they're like, man, I know exactly what Lisa stands for. Right? I know exactly what she's going to present, what value she can bring. I know exactly, all the good she's going to not only do in my life, but all of those that I bring to her as well. Right. I mean, and so it's that important. And so creating connections isn't just about people recognizing you, though, right? If it was that easy, everyone would have been doing it. Right? Everyone would be doing it. It's not that easy, right? And we've talked about this before. Dave has talked about this before. I think Jeff Hexer's talked about this before. Right? It's about the know, like, and trust factor of you. Like, what are you bringing? And if somebody really wants to connect with you, or you want someone to connect with you, you can't just introduce yourself and expect that instantly everything's going to jump to the right hand side. It doesn't work that way, right? Life doesn't work that way. I recall we had a conversation about shoes. Obviously, Nike was on there, right? Hey Dudes. Anybody know what Hey Dudes is? Most of us, yeah. I mean, Hey Dudes is a pair of shoes, right? They're really like lightweight loafers for the most part, right? You would think about like boat shoes or something back in the day, right? I love Hey Dudes. They weigh like 2 pounds, right? They're very comfortable for walking, right? But they also now make sneakers, right? And so it's a different brand, and not everybody recognizes Hey Dudes, right? Does it make it less valuable? No. I just bought a pair. I wore it out, and I was like, I really liked them for the last 7 months or 8 months or 9 months, however long they lasted, right? And I bought 2 more pair. And my wife just knows now that if she really needs something for me to buy me, right, she can buy me Hey Dudes, and it's all good, right? But we've gotten to the fact that we know we like the brand and we trust what it's going to do for me, right? I know I can hike around Greece for 13 days, right? In 100 and something degree weather. My feet never were sore, right? I was comfortable. They're easy enough because they're all slide-ons, right? You can just kick them off. None of them are tie-on shoes, so they can just kick off or whatever. That kind of trust was born, right? And so in the know, when it comes to branding, right? Who is the brand at its core, right? And if we start talking about things like Coca-Cola, probably one of the most well-known brands in the United States, right? Coke has not always driven the same values, though, correctly, right? I mean, they've come across points in their life. They were like, oh, we can either go right or we can go left. We don't have to keep going straight. And sometimes they've chosen correctly, and sometimes they haven't, right? I think back to the introduction of Coke, of New Coke, right? Of New Coke. That didn't go over so well.
And don't forget, they started out having cocaine in it.
Yeah, well,
originally,
that's where the Coca comes from,
right? That might have helped, right? But you know, they tried to pivot, thinking they were keeping up with the generation or new things that were coming in life, right? And it turns out their best pivot was coming back to Coke Classic, right? And just redoing the brand visual a little bit versus trying to regenerate a drink that nobody really cared for, right? Mission, vision, and values is probably one of the things that needs to be most consistent, I think, when we're talking about the brand piece of this. And then it's all those facts that people learn along the way that feed into that identity. Okay. For you, it's the same thing, right? How do you introduce yourself? Right. Cleveland area networking is probably one of the most insane 30 minutes of your life, because all we do is introductions and we talk about the feedback, right? And whether we can't focus on all 10 or 12 or whatever people that are in there, right? But we focus on one, and often just listening to the feedback that goes back to that one individual, right? You get to thinking about, how does this apply to me? How am I presenting myself in these ways that may be coming across the same way? And so the know is just kind of like, how are we getting the word out about what we do, who we are, and what we value the most, right? The like becomes to be, how do I make people feel, right? Maybe I caught Amy off guard yesterday, right? We went to go say goodbye, and I'm just going to put you on the spot a little bit, Amy, right? Went to go say goodbye. Amy, what did I do to you that maybe surprised you a little bit?
You gave me a big old hug.
I gave you a hug, right? That's me. You know,
Rodney's a hugger.
I'm
Well,
a
what
hugger,
you-
right?
Yeah, but Rodney, what you didn't know is I'm a hugger too. That's why it caught me off guard.
But I think so. It's important, right? But those small things or those images, right, is what hopefully people see about me. Like I hope that when Lamar and Jeff, like when I get up to Cleveland very infrequently as I do, right, that's what they see. Like they know that instantly when they come up to me, it doesn't have to be this handshake all the time, right? That it can genuinely be a hug. Okay. But that's what I want. That's the image I want anyway. That's what I want people to know, right? And so the brand image becomes important because it's not what you do. You don't have control over it. It's what other people are seeing of you. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Right. And then last thing is the trust piece of this, right? And I think these are the words that help to describe us, right? And if you're hearing bad or negative things about how people describe you, then it probably goes to say how long or how much they may trust you as well, right? And so consistent personality traits, I said we look at trust as how we describe others, okay? Keeping your word and following through, vulnerability and authenticity, right? Those are big things for how people describe you. And nobody wants to trust someone that they say, we don't think they have any integrity. We don't think that, those things are not going to come in the same lane as trusting someone, right? And so we want to make sure, like, what are the words being said? Not just the emotions that where people are feeling, that's the image, but what are the words being said as well, right? And so first up, breakout room. Oh, I forgot to give Jeff some authority. Changing that real quick so he can help me out.
How many people per room and how long do you want?
We'll go 3 or 4, Jeff, that's fine. And we're going for 10 minutes. So you feel free to screenshot this. Again, I just think this summarizes some of the stuff that we just talked about, right? The brand identity, the brand image, and the brand personality, or the know, like, and trust factors that we're trying to establish to have meaningful connections. Breakout room number 1 is going to stick with the know, right? Share your name in the role, maybe a surprising factor about yourself, right? Or fact about yourself. What do you want people to know that they often miss? Right? What do you want people to know about you that they may often miss out on, right? Miss knowing. Jeff's got the breakout room set.
There's 6 rooms here, so
okay.
All right, so the first breakout is, you said that again?
This is it right here.
All right, got it. I'm opening
Screenshot it. I'll see you guys back here in 10 minutes.
Every time we flip from a breakout room or to a breakout room, the app on my phone closes. And I have to reopen the app.
That's annoying. Thanks, Apple.
I'm glad you said it.
So,
I thought he was going to say every time we
is
play
that part of your identity that you lead with, or that really reflects who you are?
It's a feature, not a bug. That's what it is.
Complaining about technology is, yes, it is part of my personality.
Yes. That's an undocumented feature.
So funny last night, right? That our professor, she was like, we were talking about this brand identity and management and image and stuff, right? And she says, I'm curious, like, how many of you guys have more than 3 Apple products, right? And there was a lot of young folks that raised their hand, right? And a little while later in the class, I'm like, hey, how come you didn't ask, how many of you guys don't own any? Like, I don't own any Apple products, right? Yeah, thank you, Lori. Right? Like Carla, yeah, Julie, like, I don't own any Apple products. And so part of it may be just the younger generation, right? They've bought into the brand that Apple is and what Apple does, and the ease of Apple products talking to each other. That doesn't necessarily mean that Apple easily speaks to the rest of the world. right? And so, what else did we learn in breakout number one about yourself?
You know what? That was the most difficult question at the end, which was, what do you wish people knew about you? That was a great freaking question because everybody went mute.
And I think about this a lot, right? And we were talking, I even mentioned it in my group. I said, there's something that people don't know about me, probably because I don't speak about it enough. And that's what the dilemma is. We need to make sure that people truly understand what we're trying to do. Like if was it Steve Jobs that said, "Hey, we want technology like in the hands of people," or like he wanted technology in every household, right? That and people couldn't fathom that we were going to have these laptops and desktop computers and stuff in every household, right? That wasn't going to be the size of a refrigerator, right? That was going to literally sit on that. Like nobody else could visualize that, but because he spoke it out and he kept telling people it can be, right? It can be, it can happen, right? Eventually other people started to believe it, right? And so I think we often don't speak some of those things because we're thinking, oh man, that's so far out there. There's no way Dave would ever believe that I'm going to do that, right? And so I think we get a little afraid sometimes, right, to think about some of those things or speak some of those things, and therefore people do miss out on those opportunities, right? Anybody else? It is a difficult question, Lori.
I gotta say that I was surprised by Craig and Chris because they just couldn't say enough about what I do and my networking list and how they just wanted to share it with others, which just makes my day. And that because I mean, all I want to do is help people and that. So, but to have somebody actually tell me that they like it and they really want to go and share it is just unbelievable. Because I usually don't get that feedback.
Julie, I don't want to pump you up too much, but we mention that every Monday morning in orientation. I tell people to connect with you. I don't know if they do or not.
That is true.
But I tell them to.
Well, thanks, guys. It's nice to hear.
It was so funny because yesterday I mentioned you too, Julie, a little bit. When I was talking to Amy, I said, "Do you know Julie Myers?" And she said, "Yeah, she knows you, right?" And so I was trying to describe Larry Scheidler, right? I was like, Larry's like Julie, but he doesn't have this big list. Like he goes everywhere, right? With the intention of, I just want to meet people and I want to be able to introduce people to others, right? That would find value in each other and stuff. So we do appreciate you, dear. We do appreciate the list, and I appreciate all your participation that you continue to express here in Coffee Connect with us and stuff. So, so I think it's important. Like we have to understand, what are we putting out there? What is our identity that we're trying to portray, right? And the good news is, guys, is this is what you control, right? And so if you don't like what's being put out there, change it, right? Work with someone, use the group, right? To say, hey, I want to bounce some ideas of how I'm putting myself out there, right? And this is so important, right? Job seekers, entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, it doesn't matter. What are you portraying yourself to be, right? If you're not saying it in the right way, how are people receiving it, right? That's the other thing. And so how are people gonna know you, right? If you're not saying it, saying what you want to say. Going back here, I'm gonna go back to Sharon. Anybody else real quick as we keep moving on? Because we've got some more breakouts that we want to get done. Hopefully we'll get to everything. So the next thing is the like, right? And Jeff, go ahead and shuffle up because we're going to go to another breakout here in a second, right? Brand image. How are other people seeing you, right? As hard as that question might have been for us to answer on the first one, the next question is asking others, how do you see me, right? And then figuring out where that gap lies so that we can hopefully close that up. And so share one thing that genuinely lights you up about what you do, okay? Ask the folks that are in your room. Like, what energy do I bring into the room? What are you guys seeing from me when I enter the room, or we have conversations, or whatever that might be, right? And then we're going to start to figure out what that gap is, and hopefully how we can close that gap. Jeff, you good?
I am good.
Going for about another 10 minutes, guys. I'll see you back here shortly.
And Rodney, on that level, if we were doing Thanksgiving at my house, it's the appetizer form.
Appetizer form. Like,
yeah, I'm going to have to make Thanksgiving an appetizer form because there's no dining table here. So it's all got to be finger food. That's not much of Thanksgiving for you guys.
Okay.
That's it.
Rita didn't realize she volunteered to have Thanksgiving at her house for all of us.
We're all walking over to the Hofbräu house. We're all walking over to the Hofbräu house, and we're going to do Hofbräu house.
Well, I'm good with that.
baby.
That would be fantastic.
Oktoberfest.
There are always such weird conversations when you come back.
True that.
If you come back first, you get to start the weird conversation.
It's only weird. It's only weird if you weren't there. Okay.
That's true.
So what is missing? What's the gap that you guys have between what you were trying to show and what people were seeing? Lori's like, that question wasn't as good, Rodney. I don't know.
No. I'm sorry. I'm very expressive. I apologize for. But no, what we were talking about in the group I was in is that when you do feel like you are bringing your best, you are bringing what you intend to, and you are expressing who you are, the other aspect to it is, are you talking to somebody who wants that? And if not, then it's not that there's something wrong with you. You can't continually keep fixing yourself. You just kind of go, well, that's not a good match.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, raise your hand if you've ever spent time with the wrong person.
Please.
As little as possible, though. I quickly figure it out and refer them to somebody else, or introduce them to somebody else, or work my way out of that and don't go back. And it's fun.
Yeah.
And there again, you guys continue to let me join the group.
Hey, I'm glad that you figured out how to identify that they're the wrong person. I've had the misfortune more than once of being tied up in that situation for years, and it has put me so far behind where I could have been if I would have made the right decision early on. It's definitely a talent being able to see that quickly.
It is a talent, Chris, but I think at some point, sometimes that's caused by the fact that you maybe trust people. You know, there's good in everybody, and sometimes you get yourself stuck with the wrong group because you think there is some good in everyone, and you just can't give up. That's a hard thing.
And then the important thing after that is having the courage to go, I got to back out of this, right? And just go with the action and get out of there, right? Don't hang out and just continue to pretend that it's going to be something that's good, or feel bad for it because you feel like you're going to hurt their feelings or something, man. Brother, you got to look out for number one first, right?
That's a struggle.
Yeah, it is. It absolutely is.
Honestly,
I'm guilty
in
as well
life,
sometimes.
one of the best things you can do for yourself is just recognize when you are not in a room that is for you, when you are not sitting at a table that you should be at. Because most business, especially in business, most people are not going to come right out and tell you, we're never going to promote you. We're never going to include you in this group. They are literally just going to let you kind of simmer where you're at because they think you're okay at that. But most times you have to say, these are really nice people, but they're not for me. There's something about this situation that isn't good. I'm going to take a little time and pull back and just think a little bit about this situation for myself. It's I think we talk about it in this group a lot. And I think this group is one of the groups that helps you develop the skills, even if you don't have so much talent in it, the skills you can build in that. These people in this group, if you don't feel like you have a lot of natural talent in it, these people will use their talent for you.
Lori's got her hand raised.
Go ahead, Lori.
I do. Let me lower it. Yeah, I wanted to say that, excuse me, when it comes to deciding where you should be and who you should be with, the thing that we constantly forget is to how does this person make me feel? We keep ignoring the emotional impact, and emotion is what makes us do anything. So paying attention to ourselves is a great way to start to determine, is this the right place? It doesn't mean you go knee jerk with it. Oh, I'm uncomfortable, I'm running away. But bringing that discernment, I think, is really important.
One thing our group brought up was sometimes we make an assumption of how we're being received or perceived. And sometimes you just have to directly ask for that feedback.
Oh, and can I say one more thing? I'm sorry, I know I'm being chatty today, but when you were talking about the gap, and I think being incredibly real about who you are is what you're talking about. Can you dare to be really authentically seen? I think that's the job at hand.
Absolutely, absolutely, and yeah, I mean, often we can have things set in that we're like, I'm gonna guard this piece of my life or hide it or whatever else, uh, and I think that holds back from our authenticity in some way, right? And so, I think you're absolutely right, Lori. I mean, we've got to feel free to be able to let go a little bit, right, and just open ourselves a little bit. That being said, as Chris was alluding to, right? I mean, we've got to do it around the right people too, right? And so let's we're going to keep going here. We've only got a few minutes left. I'm going to wrap up. We're not going to do a third breakout, but I think a lot of what we're talking about here alludes into the third piece of this, right? Is earning your trust. And the last, it's a discussion prompt, but I said trust is not built in moments; it's built over patterns, right? I am certain that the first time that maybe Lamar jumped on Coffee Connect, he wasn't like, "Oh, this is the best thing," right? But it was enough that Lamar was like, "You know what? I think I'm going to come back next week." Right. And maybe even a few weeks later, he shared this with somebody else. Right. And then eventually they all came to agreement that, man, this is a pretty good group. Right. We want to be a contributor. We want to be a participant in what's being built here and the things that are happening and stuff. And so trust happens over time. Right. We've got to make sure that we understand that. And so there's this balance, right? Because the first time you're with somebody, you may feel like there's no value here. I can't get any value. I can't add any value. There's like, I'm not sure why we met or whatever else. That doesn't mean that 6 months from now, you meet with that same person, that things like circumstances might have changed, right? That all of a sudden there is an opportunity for value. Right. And so we just got to be aware that those circumstances change and evolve and things happen. Right. I think we looked at some of the iconic brands at the beginning, right? Their lives, McDonald's, one thing they've done, right, is they've been consistent kind of in what they do. Burgers, they've tried to introduce salads and stuff like that along the way, right? But it's burgers, right? That's you're getting what you're getting. When the 90s or 80s, whenever it was, right, when everyone started talking about getting healthy and stuff like that, McDonald's took this shot of, we're going to introduce salads, right? It didn't work out for them, right? They didn't even realize that I'm sitting down with the wrong person at the table, right? And so you got to figure out, well, how else can we navigate the new culture, the new shifts that are taking place and things like that. And we as individuals have to do the same thing, right? Anybody that's in job search right now, you've been working on this for the last however long, right? Because the job market is significantly different today than what it was 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, right? And business is not the same today that it was in the same directions, right? And so we got to understand where those are. I would urge all of us, like, as we started asking ourselves today, like, what's my identity? what's my image? What are people seeing me as, right? How am I gaining trust and stuff? Maybe there's something out there that you like, a commitment of change that you can make, right? That will help narrow that gap down to changes that have taken place in the market and stuff today. And so I would urge you, like, uh, tell us what that commitment is. Figure out what that commitment is and share it with us, like on either the LinkedIn page or through conversations with people that are here, right? And so, any other comments, questions, concerns before we wrap up today? Go ahead, Jeff. Yes.
So trust is it's rarely mentioned, but trust is domains specific more than these other types of things. You may trust me to fix a problem with your computer, but just because you trust me doesn't mean you would trust me with the keys to your house, the keys to your car, your home finances, to babysit your kids, whatever. It's just it's different from these other types of things, but it's connected to them.
Yes. Just as I would trust McDonald's to eat a hamburger and French fries and get a shake, but not eat a salad.
Right.
I'd argue that, Jeff, just the ultimate for what any of us do is if you did have that trust, which I do for you, for the keys to the house or whatnot, it just strengthens the relationships that you have and the referral base, and it escalates. Exactly. So, I mean, that's ideal. The more you can get to that depth, the better off you'll be in personal and business relationships.
I mean, it's a measure of competency and confidence.
Yep.
Yeah, like I would trust Jeff to fix my computer. I wouldn't necessarily trust him to fix my car.
Thank God.
No, but you might trust him to refer someone to your car, fix your car.
And back to that, to me, it's the trust is one of your values. Is he trustworthy? Not can he do something? One's an act, one's a value.